SMS is one of the 3 licensed naval ship recyclers in the US. And that means that effectively what we have is we would acquire a vessel from the Navy or from the government. It would arrive in our facility, it could be a 60,000-ton aircraft carrier, and we would have to clean that vessel. We would do all the necessary abatement, whether it's asbestos, PCBs, lead, etc. And then after that is all the abatement is completed, we would then start cutting up the vessel into bite-sized chunks that we can sell out into the steelmaking process. Everybody is aware that there is a global market for recycling vessels. A vessel reaches an end of a useful life, like any of our cars, etc. And a lot of these vessels that were manufactured or built in the 50s and the 60s contain a significant amount of hazardous materials, whether it's PCBs, whether it's asbestos, whether it's lead paint, etc. Here in North America, any vessel that was manufactured or built in the US has to be disposed of in the US. The importance of recycling those vessels: we are taking vessels at end of life from the Navy and other commercial vessels as well. We bring those into our facility and we recycle those responsibly. You know, the risks of not doing that, again, is impacting the marine life, etc. So we are, again, one of the 3 licensed recyclers of vessels in the USA for the US government. Decarbonisation is really related to how we lower the greenhouse gases globally. There are 2 ways of making steel. There's the old way of making steel is through the blast furnace method. Okay, this is where we mine iron ore and we mix that with limestone, with coal, with coke, etc. And we use an excessive amount of gases to produce iron. That iron is then transported and put into another furnace that goes through another process that produces the steel. So there's an excessive amount of greenhouse gases produced in the iron ore, and then obviously through the blast furnace process as well. So the second way of making steel is recycling the waste material that we have right now. So that is the steel scrap goes into an electric furnace where you have effectively electrodes that are plunged into a furnace that melts the steel scrap. So effectively, steel scrap is probably one of the only materials that can continually be recycled. There is no end to recycling that material. So the energy required to produce steel from the electric arc furnace compared to the energy required to produce steel through the integrated process is significantly less. So that is why the world is focused on decarbonisation in the steelmaking process through moving from the integrated process through the electric arc furnace. So obviously the more we transition steelmaking through the electric arc furnace process was going to be a greater impact on the world and lower emissions, lower greenhouse emissions to move into the electric arc furnace process. SMS is very pleased to see that the industry is moving to a greener future here and the focus on the greenhouse gases, etc. Again, to ensure that we have a planet that is viable for our children and our children's children.